A long time ago, before there was 3DS and all kinds of PlayStation Vitas and all that stuff, we had handheld consoles that played individual games. Tiger Electronics and Konami and Acclaim were pretty famous for making those handheld consoles. A long time ago, before there was 3DS and all kinds of PlayStation Vitas and all that stuff, we had handheld consoles that played individual games. Tiger Electronics and Konami and Acclaim were pretty famous for making those handheld consoles. And a lot of times, kids that owned these consoles, these little handhelds, were kids that could not afford to own the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, the NES, or the Game Boy, or the Game Gear. Probably because their parents didn't have money enough to actually buy them a $200 gaming console or handheld. Quite often you'll see ads like this back in the day where the Super Nintendo, as you can see here, is flaunting right in your face. But guess what? You're getting one of these motherfuckers for Christmas. If you were lucky, you got the Konami handhelds, because they were actually pretty cool. I like how they're shaped. Quite often you'll end up with the Tiger Electronic handhelds, which were a lot more popular. The Acclaim handhelds were a little bit of a novelty, besides you don't see too many of those around, but check that out. That Royal Rumble handheld with Hulk Hogan on it looks pretty cool. Either way, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to end up with a really shitty portable handheld that ate up batteries real fast, and the game was very, very mediocre. It sucks compared to like Game Boy or Game Gear, and definitely an abomination to like an actual gaming console. But if you were from the 80s or 90s during that era, I know you guys have had one of these before once or twice. In fact, that Ninja Turtle one right there, that was my favorite. Unfortunately, Tiger Electronics came out with the idea of, instead of releasing a bunch of little handhelds, how about let's make one handheld and a bunch of shitty games? I mean, before we even review the game, there's a little ad right here for Sonic Sham, and this is for Game.com, this ad right here, so you can barely read it. You would actually see these ads in various different magazines, and the ad might fool you into thinking, oh, this is pretty cool. It's almost like Game Boy, but you can play Sonic the Hedgehog. Look at that. So that actually might lead you out to go out and buy the game, and there you have a $10 rebate on the actual console itself. So during the late 90s, Game.com was almost trying to take over the gaming scene when it came to handhelds. This console was everywhere in a short amount of time. It had all kinds of ads, commercials, and you know what? They suck. And that leads us to the following review of Sonic Jam on the Game.com. Prepare yourself for a very, very shitty game. Tried this game out, and as you can see here, this is the main screen on the Game.com. Just in case you guys did not see the last video, Game.com actually had a Duke Nukem game, which is ridiculous. And right here is the main screen. So let's hit cartridges. You can see the little cartridge popped into the slot right there. So you see right there, they had a little mention of the Sega Saturn, which is pretty interesting. This game was on Sega Saturn, but somehow this ended up on Game.com. I'm not sure exactly how that happened, but let's check it out. My ears are bleeding. So, according to what I see here, this game has Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic 2, and Sonic 3, which I really, really doubt that they're actually the full version of the game. So I guess we're going to try out Sonic the Hedgehog Part 2 first. As you can see here, you can actually choose your characters. You got Sonic, appears to be Knuckles, and Tails. And the graphics look really, really shitty because it's on Game.com, as you can see there. Right away, this is the game right here. This is where it begins. There's no introduction or nothing like that. And you can see Sonic the Hedgehog looking around over the place like, as if to say, why the fuck am I on Game.com, because this game sucks. Right away when you play it, you're going to notice that the frame rate sucks just like every other Game.com game, because Game.com sucks. And we're 45 seconds into the game, and I already don't want to play anymore. Because when Sonic the Hedgehog runs, he doesn't even run. He slides around, and right now you can see it there. This game just sucks. Just look at it. There's no sense in doing a review on this game. Just look how crappy it is. The frame rate is horrible. I mean, it's almost not playable. That's how bad it is. I mean, if the graphics, let's say if Sonic the Hedgehog wasn't moving. Let's test this out for a second. What the fuck is that? I can't even see Sonic the Hedgehog anymore. He actually fell below the platform. What the hell is that? This game is horrible. I mean, what the hell were they thinking putting this game on Game.com? What the hell? I mean, look at this shit. So this game right here, when you hit jump, you have a slight delay. It's not too bad. So I can't say too much bad about that. But the game, when you try to walk up a hill, check this out. This is not even a really big hill, so you try to run up it. Hey, look at this. You slide back down. What kind of bullshit is that? Oh, he actually made it that time. I mean, look at this. When you jump, you actually slow down when you jump. That doesn't even make sense. Alright, so, fuck that game. Let's try out another one. Sonic 2. Look at that Sega Genesis cartridge. This is Game.com Tiger on it. I mean, that looks so bootleg. Look at that. No, I might as well try out Sonic 3 first. This time we'll try out Tails. And right away, you know, instead of having the whole introduction for Sonic 3 with the airplane, you know, I can't really expect that on the handheld, I guess, but I mean, let's look at Tails for a second. You see, Tails just yawned. And that makes sense, because when I played this game, I yawned, because this game fucking sucks. I don't know what the hell that is, but at least you can fly in this game. You can jump up and push the jump button again, and you fly. That's pretty cool. The only thing you have to do is keep hitting the jump button, and you're pretty much flying around, that's it. I mean, how easy is that? I do recognize that rope from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on Sega Genesis, so you know, at least they tried a little bit on this one. Not that much, though. This game is so much easier playing as Tails. I don't have to run around or do anything. Now, I'm not sure if the sound effects are being recorded on this, but they do make my fucking ears bleed. They suck. If they're not being recorded, you're not missing much. In fact, I'm doing you a favor. I mean, if Game.com had better frame rate, maybe it would have been decent. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Let's see how this turns out. Wait a minute, ain't this where you run and you're supposed to run around this whole thing? Man, he runs slow, what the hell? I guess you can't really run around that whole, whatever the hell that is. Like in the Sega Genesis version. So we're at the end of the stage right here. This is where the enemy comes out, or your boss, Dr. Robotnik. And that looks very, very familiar compared to the Genesis version, which I'm actually surprised. Of course, it looks like shit, but you know, what do you expect? Wait a minute, that's the end of the stage? That's it? Alright, let's try the last Sonic and Knuckles. Let's get it done and over with. This time we'll play Knuckles, and no, I don't really remember playing this game too much back in the day, but what the hell was up with the mushrooms? I'm not playing Super Mario. I mean, come on. And just like the other previous Sonic games, 1 and 2, actually, no, it was 2 and 3. They didn't even have 1 on here, which sucks, but you cannot run up the hills. You actually slide back down, and that kind of shitty. So here we are, running back up the hill. We have a running start right here. And we're running. We're doing pretty good so far. I'm getting a little excited. And we're running, and we're doing pretty good. Check that out. And then all of a sudden that happens. And you lose all your rings. And this right here is actually pretty cool. Look at that. You know what? This game sucks. I'm done with it. This is the review. I'm not playing no more.